Hmm. Good afternoon. My name is Hahn. I'm the acting chair of the Los Angeles County Veterans Advisory Commission. Welcome to the 8th September Veterans Advisory Commission meeting. And at this time, will you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Marcel Rodarte, are you with us? Commissioner Rodarte? I'm going to ask John Gutierrez. Are you with us?
Yes.
Could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over the heart or salute. And ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Take seats. Moving right along, roll call. Stephanie Guerrero, will you do the roll call, please?
Tom Lasser.
Present.
Joe Liddell. Brittany Moore.
Present.
Patricia Jackson Kelly. Joanna McFadden.
Present. I see Patricia Jackson on as well. Her mic is muted.
Jennifer Campbell.
Present.
Marcel Rodarte.
Here.
Once more, Joe Liddell.
Joe Leal's present.
And Patricia Jackson Kelly. I think I see you online. Yes. Okay. Carrie, you have a form.
I'm present too, Anthony Allman. I forgot.
Okay, we do have a quorum, so official minutes will be taking. And speaking of minutes, if you do have your minutes, please review them real quick, like from the regular meeting on the 11th of August, and see if there's any changes, additions, corrections that need to be made. Okay, if there are no additions or corrections, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion, Commissioner Allman.
Commissioner Allman approves the minutes. Do we have a second?
Joe Leal, second.
Okay, we got Commissioner Leal with the second. The minutes are approved. Chairman's report. Real quick, I'd like to introduce Marcel Rodarte. He's a former commissioner who came back with us. And Marcel, can you just give us a real quick Reader's Digest version of who you are and who you represent?
Absolutely. Thank you. Good to be back. General, good to see you again. In different circumstances than before. I am Marcel Rodarte. I am retired from the Air Force Reserve back in 2011. Did 4 years active duty in the Navy, 17 in the Air Force Reserve. Fortunate to travel the world. Now I am the executive director of the California Contract Cities Association. There was an echo. I know. I think it just went away. I'm the executive director of the California Contract Cities Association, former elected official here in the city of Norwalk. And I educate and train and do advocacy work on behalf of cities. Appointed by Janice Hahn, Supervisor Hahn in the 4th District, and happy to be back and happy to work with you all to improve the lives of veterans throughout LA County.
Thank you, Commissioner. Stand by while we try to fix this.
I think it's if you guys are in the same room, you're getting an echo. If you both have your speakers on, it's the echo back and forth. So only one of you can have sound on.
I can't hear the audio that's playing. I'm not sure, or if anyone else is talking about this content, I can't hear it.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat as well. I hear no audio for the video.
Thanks, Jennifer. I'm like, wait, am I missing it?
Okay.
Where were you on 9/11? I had just returned from Washington, D.C. after a 9-year tour of duty and thought of my colleagues at the Pentagon and those assigned to bases throughout Washington, D.C. I prayed for their safety. 20 years ago, we watched as fellow citizens fell to unspeakable acts of terrorism and vowed we would never forget. We came together as a nation to defend our country and our freedom. Now, 20 years later, we need to again unite and recognize the importance of fighting for our freedom, and will not let anyone take that away. Joining us are LA County Board of Supervisors, Hilda Solis and Janice Hahn.
This day left an impressionable mark, not only in New York, but across the nation. I recall that day very vividly. At the time, I was a freshman serving in Congress, working in the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. There was so much anguish, confusion, anxiety, and uncertainty over what had happened. I will never forget how the Capitol Police helped us feel safe. We were evacuated from the Capitol, but we could not go home. The streets were backed up with traffic, the metro was closed, and the cell towers were overwhelmed with calls from people across the country reaching out to loved ones to check in. But the attack on 9/11 demonstrated a core truth about this country and who we are as Americans. It demonstrated that we're fighters, that we are a country grounded in unity, sympathy, and humility for one another. And it also demonstrated that we have the capacity to come together in our most difficult moments to take action. In that darkness, we were carried through with the support of one another, but especially with the support and sacrifices of the heroes that valiantly fought for our nation in response to this tragedy. So to all those who courageously stepped up, I want to take this moment to express my deepest gratitude for your service. And to our veterans and our surviving families, I want you to know that we stand by you and we are here for you, and we will never forget.
As we mark the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks, we are called first and foremost to remember. We remember where we were and what we were doing when we heard a plane had crashed into the World Trade Center. And we remember when we realized that this was more than an accident. We all lost something that day. But as we remember the fear and the grief we felt on this day, we remember too the impossible heroism of so many of our fellow Americans. We remember the firefighters and the police officers who, without question or hesitation, ran into the buildings to get others to safety, many of whom also lost their lives that day. 2 decades since that fateful day, we have lost much of the unity that brought us together as a country in the days and years following the attacks. But as we remember those who lost their lives that day, I hope this is now an opportunity to come together in the spirit of solidarity and hope. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
If you are a veteran or family member who needs assistance, call 1-877-4LA-VETS to speak directly with a Veteran Service Officer.
Commissioner Lasser, if you're talking, I can't hear you. Yeah, I think
You're
the-
muted, Mr.
I'm
Chairman.
muted again.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, Chairman, Commissioner Moore is in charge of our new chair election. And go ahead and call for the election, and we'll have a voice vote right afterwards.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. We have one nominee for the chair of the Veterans Advisory Commission, Commissioner Anthony Allman. At this time, we will take a voice vote. Are we doing a roll call or?
Yeah, we'll be doing a roll call, and I'll have the secretary call out the roll.
Good to go.
Tom Lasser,
Yes?
Joe Liddell,
Joliel.
Brittany Moore,
Yes.
Kelly,
I see you're saying yes, but still no audio.
That was a yes for me too. I do apologize, Steve.
Joanna McFadden,
Yes.
Anthony Almond,
No, he can't vote.
I abstain.
Jennifer Campbell,
Yay for me, ma'am.
and Marcel Rodarte.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The voting is complete, and the new chair of the Veterans Advisory Commission is Commissioner Anthony Almond, and he will officially take over at the end of this meeting and preside afterwards. In the interest of time, we're going to pass on the VPAN summary by Joe Leal, and Commissioner Leal, we're going to insert you at the good of the order because we have a couple of speakers we have to present because they have to lead. Next, we have two public comments on items that are not on the agenda. It's 3 minutes or less per person. No questions are asked. The first individual is Angelica Escalante of Veterans Upward Bound. Ms. Escalante, you're on.
Thank you very much, and I do apologize. I'm still having those technical difficulties. Oh, there I am. Sorry about that. But I'm here. I just want to let everybody know we are still closed at our facility in East Los Angeles, which is right next to the East LA Vet Center and the vet clinic. But even though we're closed, we are still conducting our classes through Zoom for the fall 2021 session and for the winter 2022 session. And hoping everything goes good, knock on wood, next year we will be open. We're hoping, and fingers crossed. Our program does free classes to all veterans and reservists, just letting you know, 6 weeks completely free, and we're funded by the U.S. Department of Education. So we don't touch no veteran benefits at all. So remember, community colleges have removed remedial courses. So if you have veterans trying to go back into the educational system, or even a veteran that needs help on computers, send them our way. We are completely free. And now we are being done everything virtually through Zoom. We even train our veterans and reservists how to use Zoom before classes even start. We work closely with a lot of you that are here today. For example, with JBS, that's John Gutierrez. They've always helped us out anytime we need their support. VOA, Volunteers America, PATH, US Vets has been great as well. And even Military Veterans Affairs and the VA. So we're always here available for you. If you ever need us, let us know too. And I will put in my contact information on the chat. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Next is Ms. Patricia Suttle. Ms. Suttle, are you with us?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Latia Suttle. I'm a retired Army, retired Chief Warrant Officer. I'm a certified peer support specialist and advocate for women, veterans, and children. I know I received an update last month from Mr. Dimitri De Selva on the status of trying to properly identify veterans when cases are open in family court with the Department of Children and Family Services and Children's Court. Just wanted to know if this update would be done monthly or quarterly so that these issues don't fall by the wayside. These are issues that negatively affect veterans and their children and create a downward spiral that can cause homelessness and other issues. So just want to know if we can get an update on a regular basis as to the status of properly identifying veterans in these other courts outside of criminal courts and providing them with the support. That's all I have.
Thank you. We'll take that under advisement and do some follow-up work. Next, our first guest speaker. In this form, we ask you to keep it to 10 minutes or less, and questions can be asked of the commissioners only. Our first speaker is from the the County Office of Immigrant Affairs, and is the Executive Director, Mr. Reyes, will be introduced by Anthony Allman.
Thanks, Chair Lasser, appreciate it. This topic of conversation, I think, is obviously relevant given the current world events that have taken place, and it was really a result of a conversation I had with Commissioner Campbell regarding the need to do something for our Afghan allies. One, obviously, evacuating our allies, but also welcoming them into our communities, where hopefully they will return after their temporary placement at other military installations in Europe, and I'm sure there's other places that I'm forgetting. But the question really becomes, what can the County of Los Angeles do for our Afghan allies? And through a quick Google search, I think we came to the realization that the Office of Immigrant Affairs within the County of LA is tasked with that responsibility, and I will turn it over. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony. Rigo Reyes. I'm the director for the Office of Immigrant Affairs in County of Los Angeles. Great to see you, Ruth, and your colleagues. And I've worked with you for many, many years in different capacities. I will keep my comments brief, and if you allow me, I will share my screen with a couple of slides so you can follow me along. As was said, and I believe this is the one I want to share here. Can you all see the slide on the screen?
Yes.
All right. So, just quickly, I wanted to give you the overview here. So I'll mention briefly the arriving Afghan refugees and the families. A motion the Board of Supervisors passed last Tuesday, directing us to work on helping the new arrivals in a strategic, effective manner. I'll briefly show some of the available wraparound county services, and I will mention briefly to a task force as directed by the motion. So we understand that approximately 120,000 Afghan nationals were evacuated out of the country, with about half of them coming to the United States directly, and the others were evacuated to third countries. And we believe that for many of them as well, their final destination is the United States. More pertinent to us, as of last week, about 1,200 had arrived in California, and the vast majority are resettling in Sacramento County, about 700 or so of the 1,200. The numbers we have are that only 73 of the 1,200 plus stayed in LA, and those are the ones that clearly will be our focus. Certainly that number can change in terms of percentages, given the situation is pretty fluid and quick. In regard to how we help them, and I mentioned the board motion. So the Board of Supervisors quickly acted to get us prepared for this situation. Supervisor Solis and Supervisor Hahn authored a motion that has some very straightforward directives, basically all making sure that we understand what's happening and how we're going to help out. Assessing the needs of the arriving refugees and the families, and a second directive Also, this was for the Department of Military and Veteran Affairs to assess the needs of returning service members. And then specifically to identify available services such as healthcare, housing, public benefits, education, and the like. And this would be for the returning service members and more broadly for the immigrant, refugee and families coming in. One of the questions that has come up or came up immediately, as you know, the evacuation had to be done very swiftly, and many of the folks evacuated did not have time to process their immigrant visas, certainly not getting the refugee status that they need in order to be eligible for a number of services. So many were evacuated under humanitarian parole status. Many of the ones that came directly to the United States, many who were evacuated to third countries hold that status, and that makes a huge difference because those under that status are not eligible for the services that refugees are. So we're trying to figure that one out. The county and external wraparound services obviously is a concern that we need to understand. And the creation of the task force, as I mentioned, to help them in a quick, strategic manner and developing a plan to expedite the service delivery. And we have to report back in 30 days, which in fact we requested a 2-week extension to make sure that we get a good handle. This next slide just shows you the breadth of the county services that are available and would be available. Most of the services for the arrival, arriving refugees or those on humanitarian parole. And so we're now working with CEO that was directed to stand up at the task force to help us work with the departments and really identifying how these services can be delivered. And for that, we have the task force that CEO is putting together. It will be led by our office. It's composed of county departments. We have identified about 10 or so that have direct services. We're talking about the Department of Public Social Services, mental health, and the like. Then we have the state agencies that we're working with. The Department of Social Services, for instance, has the Office of Emergency Management, and then they have an Office of Equity that's working with us, as well as the Department of Public Health. And with the federal agencies, we definitely want to make sure that we coordinate closely. And more importantly, our community-based organizations, which include the refugee resettlement agencies here in the area that are tasked with working directly with refugees. In fact, they get funding through DPSS, and we have 4 of those here in the area. We want to complement rather than replace their services and capacity, and working together. And we all, at the same time, we need to understand what they won't be able to do for those on humanitarian parole, so that the county can step in and provide that gap. Certainly, other NGOs that serve African refugees would be vital, including some of the faith-based organizations in the area. We are in communications with them to enlist their services. We're talking about language capacity. We're talking about cultural competencies, and certainly the immigration concerns that they will have. I'm going to stop here. I know there's a lot to unpack. I just wanted to let you know what we're doing, and certainly would be very glad to come back at a later time for an update when some of these issues mature. Back up to you. Glad to take any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. Valuable information, more detailed than we had gotten through the media. We'd like to have you come back and give us an update, but I'll let Commissioner Allman work out those details. But thank you very much.
I do have one question or suggestion. In the community-based organizations subdirectory, potentially working with veteran service organizations. We're talking about cultural competency. I imagine, military veterans who have served in Afghanistan more so than any other American group would understand where they are coming from and the conditions in which they left or were living in. So I would just, maybe add that working with an American Legion or a VFW and to see whether or not they have volunteers who want to sponsor a family or so on. That would be my only suggestion to throw out there.
I think that's a really valuable addition, and we would definitely make sure to connect. We can probably connect back with you, Ruth, your team, to do the introduction so we can get this going quickly. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Very good information. Next, we have Mr. Philip Chavez, Program Manager for the ETS program, who will be introduced by Commissioner Allman.
Thanks, Chair. This program was brought to my attention through one of the constituents that live in the 3rd District, and brought it to my attention. I didn't know anything about the program. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about the program. So this is an opportunity for us to learn what ETS is all about.
Thank you for letting us tell you guys a little bit about this program. My name is Philip Chavez, and one of the community integration coordinators is Lisa Rodriguez. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show the presentation. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So my name is Philip Chavez. I'm a mental health clinical supervisor for the Veteran Peer Access Network, and also one of 3 community integration coordinators for the expiration term of service sponsorship program. Before I go into this slide, I want to give a little background or origins of how ETS came about. ETS is modeled after the permanent change of station, or the PCS system, for those that may have never served in the military. It's when a service member is transitioning onto their newly assigned base. During that transition, a service member is assigned a fellow service member or a sponsor, often someone of higher rank or someone that has a little more experience in them, to help them with that transition. Often connecting them to their unit command, introducing them to their first sergeant, connecting them to either base housing or to the barracks. Pretty much the sponsor helps familiarize them with the on-base services. And this can be everything from the basic stuff of just introducing them or connecting them to the gym, or or just walking them down to the post or base exchange, just taking them off base, pretty much giving them a local intel report of the community, what highways to avoid, shortcuts. So up until now, there has never been a system in place to help you transition back into society. So it's fair to say that ETS is a long overdue program. And so here, I'm showing here our 4 pillars of our program. ETS is about really taking a proactive approach to eliminating veteran suicide, veteran homelessness, and veteran unemployment by facilitating a personal relationship. More importantly, sponsors are there to share their experiences through their difficult reintegration process, and with the knowledge and experience the sponsor learned, share that and advocate on the service member's behalf. Oftentimes, a service member may have difficulties transitioning back into understanding, the very big, complex VA system. So our sponsors who may have had a difficult reintegration can pretty much guide them in that process. More importantly, the sponsor will also be the cheerleader to mental health, reducing the stigma of mental health, connecting them to their local vet centers, to their VA treatment teams. Also connecting them to the business office, making sure they understand, how to get enrolled. Our goal here as Community Integration Services is to provide training, guidance, support, and reassurance throughout the sponsorship community. We hold monthly meetings and expose them to these veteran-based organizations that focus on improving the lives of veterans, such as employment, assisting them or connecting them to a veteran service officer to get a service connection claim. So we often link them to all these important services that often the veteran can take years to familiarize themselves once they return. I'm going to hand this next slide off to Lisa Rodriguez, a fellow Community Integration Coordinator.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Lisa Rodriguez. I'm also with LA County with the Department of Mental Health, and I'm one of the coordinators for the ETS sponsorship program. So as a CIC with ETS, our role is to continue to expand on this network and to continue to include other agencies or supporting organizations that contribute to the success of our transitioning service members and ultimately prevent suicide for our service members. These are some of the agencies that are part of the network, and they vary from community-based organizations to county and federal agencies. And like Phil mentioned earlier, we host monthly meetings with our sponsors, and we provide them with various resources during these meetings. We bring different speakers who provide them with information on the different services they can help a transitioning service member. We now have a VA representative or a liaison who comes to our monthly meetings and attends all of our meetings to assist with any of our service members who may need assistance with the VA, and we'll have them introduce himself in a little bit. But also as the CIC, one of our biggest roles or responsibilities and the reason why we're here today is to recruit new sponsors who are interested in helping service members. And this is a completely voluntary program, and we do need your support. I'm gonna post a flyer on the chat, and that's gonna include our contact information. If you know someone that may be interested in becoming a sponsor, the VA does provide training to get you certified to become a sponsor, and that training is provided virtually. It includes, it's a 3-session series, which is about 2.5 hours each session, and you attend one class once a week for 3 consecutive weeks. So it's pretty manageable once you become certified, and we identify a new sponsor, a service member, then we'll match the sponsor with the transitioning service member. So again, and just ongoing, the sponsor will have access to free training provided by the VA. It could be from DMH as well. We host monthly meetings to make sure that they're up to date with the different resources that are available here in LA County, and from the different providers that are also part of this network. And again, so that they know who their CICs are, which is us, our community integration coordinators, and our VA liaisons who are there to support the sponsors, helping service members transition back into the civilian world. So definitely, if you can spread the word, that's how we can make our program grow. The more sponsors we can recruit, the more service members we'll be able to reach out to and help them as they transition into their communities. And kind of, it's more of a proactive approach. It helps prevent some of the long-term issues that can come up if some of their needs go unaddressed, or they don't have access to the right resources in a timely fashion, and things can quickly develop into other issues that are more serious and are harder to take care of. So this is definitely a new program with a different approach. So help us spread the word. And now I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to our VA liaison, and I'll have him introduce himself and just kind of say a little bit about himself.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Fernando. I'm the VA liaison. I'm a social worker. I work in a military to VA transition care management program, and I've been working with Philip and Lisa with the CICs in order to help roll out this program and trying to recruit sponsors. That's, like she said, basically our main goal right now is try to get as many sponsors as possible and work on the early intervention. My contact information is provided below in the PowerPoint. That's all I have. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
I actually do. This is Commissioner Campbell. First of all, thank you. I think this is a really important thing that you're doing, and I think that we've seen that by able to help transition, we really help set these military personnel and their families up for success. And have you guys worked specifically with connecting sponsors to VSOs in the area? So whether it's the American Legion, VFW, Vietnam Vets of America, all that kind of stuff. Have we worked on creating a network, so we can provide that peer and social network for these transitioning service members and their families, and not putting it so much on them, but placing that emphasis on the sponsors so that they can then, have introductions to them. And I don't know, you said something with your monthly meetings, maybe getting those VSOs to attend those and introduce themselves, and how it does provide that fellowship and network of peer veterans.
So that's a really good question. In our monthly meetings, we've been lucky enough to invite the CalVets team along with the LA DMVA, and had a couple of VSOs. As a matter of fact, George Dixon came to one of our meetings, and if George Dixon is really knowledgeable, and so he's also empowered our sponsors and given them, their local regional VSO officers. So we've been really promoting the VSO teams. But we would like to maybe sit down and we could talk offline, and you can provide us with any other more options or resources.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll reach out offline, and I'd love to be able to at least, set a representative out to even just, watch the meeting so we can see what's going on, and that we can echo those things and take in what they're looking for out of their peer network. So thank you.
Thank you.
If you can, also please share those slides. There was some good information that was kind of hard to read, but if you can share them with the commission and the department, we might be able to help you out a little bit better.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for the opportunity, and thank you, General Wong. It was nice seeing you.
I just have a quick follow-up. How many service members are identified in the ETS program returning to LA?
We work closely with the National ETS office, and as of right now, we have around 86 service members returning or transitioning for service, and around 40 to 50 sponsors.
That was my follow-up. I just wanted to see what the supply and demand look like.
Yeah, so we're hoping to recruit enough sponsors to potentially have, 3 sponsors to 1 service member. That's the goal right now, is to build the infrastructure and really have a large pool of sponsors, because we're looking for, a diverse pool, everything from women veterans, the civilian population. Like Lisa was saying, we're really trying to take a proactive approach and really trying to meet them as they leave their base or post, to prevent homelessness, to prevent suicide and unemployment. This ETS just kicked off in January, and we're hoping to get a larger sponsor pool. I know that the Texas and New York offices are also building, so the goal is to be better than Texas and New York. So if you can recruit or you can spread the word, we can definitely have a stronger sponsorship network.
So the idea is a 3-to-1, so 3 sponsors per returning service member.
Yes, the national team is telling us that right now they have, for the supply and demand, they have the capacity to connect us to service members, but the sponsor pool isn't as strong as they want it.
Yeah.
So that's really what they want us to build. Right now they're looking at 2 or 3 locations, 1 in New York and 1 in San Diego. But the goal is to again, just to strengthen the sponsorship, to prepare for more fellow service members returning home.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, please share all your information with the commission and the department, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you
again. Next, Gail Soper, from the founder and executive director of the Mindful Veterans Project, will be introduced by Commissioner Jennifer Campbell.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. So I'm thankful that Gail could be with us today. As you said, she's the founder and executive director for Mindful Veteran Project. And without stealing her thunder, it's just, it's a program to help veterans and their families in a variety of wellness modalities, focusing on present moment experiences and acceptance. And they have a lot of really great programs, and I have services, and I've gotten the opportunity to work with them through the American Legion. So, as you've heard me all say before, I am in wellness. I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist. So I think this is something that is so important, beyond, just the medical, the daily wellness, the self-care. So I'm excited to hear Gail tell you all about the things that they provide and that we can help push out, and how the county can help facilitate this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I put my contact information in the chat so that people can check us out. Because our services are so vast and all over the place, I know in 10 minutes I can't explain all of them, but I'd love for people to just go to our website, look through, we work in kind of a flyer module, and look at the flyers for current events that are offered, and also check out previous events, because you'll see the scope of what we do. So basically, we're a nonprofit based in the greater Los Angeles area, serving primarily veterans, but also including active duty Guard reserve members, all of the family members. We do a lot of work with the children, and service providers and caregivers. So a pretty comprehensive network of support for anyone who's military connected. And our 3-word motto is be free, be well, and be whole. So even though the name is Mindful Veteran Project, and people might know us, our previous name up until last February was Mindful Warrior Project. The mindfulness that we do is very military specific, very supportive of people who have served, and very familiar with military culture. So we usually have to differentiate from the beginning. Don't worry, we're not going to make you sit cross-legged on the floor with no back support and chant in a foreign language. This is not Buddhism. This is not meditation. This is not deep belly breathing. This is present moment awareness. So our definition of mindfulness is paying attention to present moment experiences. Those can be physical, mental, emotional, interpersonal, environmental, suspending as much judgment as possible to be able to explore with openness and curiosity. And the biggest line, without trying to fix or change anything, and simply accept the existence of whatever we find. So these tools are very simple. As I said, we work with kids. It's kind of disguised a little bit as mindful arts and crafts, mindful music and movement. But what we do is so simple that children literally can use these tools and enjoy them, but they're incredibly powerful. So we're supporting people in developing their own inner resources in ways that support them through whatever else they're encountering in their daily lives. So we partner with employment agencies, housing agencies, clinical mental health, all kinds of services, because we're helping people literally just keep their wits about them, find what's happening, be really honest. This is what's happening right now. What resources are available to me inside and out, and proceed with a lot more dignity and strength through life, rather than defaulting to a knee-jerk reaction, face palming, going, look what a jerk I am, and spiraling downwards. So this is supporting people in a lot of unique ways. Before the pandemic, people would tease us like, you guys are omnipresent. We find you at every event and with every agency. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but we're out in the field. We don't have our own venue. So our workshops are at American Legion posts, Bob Hope Patriotic Hall, transitional housing facilities, vet centers, churches, so that we're accessible to the military connected population. And then special events would be everywhere and anywhere. So besides teaching people these tools for emotional intelligence and therefore emotional regulation, and just exploring resources, that's the core of the work. But then what we're also doing is exploring resources and possibilities on the outside as a group. And I happened to mention that I was asked to present to the commissioners today, and this was a veteran who said, you make sure and tell them that your work has been priceless to me. It's been life-saving. Without identifying as suicide prevention or substance abuse treatment or mental health or anything else specific, the way you have helped me overcome my obstacles has been priceless and life-saving. When I started with you, I was afraid to go out into crowds, and now I can sit in the middle of the row of a fully packed auditorium and enjoy what we're there to enjoy. So now I can report into her that I did share that with everyone. But some people know us from our wellness areas. We do pop-up clinics introducing, sometimes it's up to 12 alternative healing modalities where people can sample. I have no idea what this is. I can't even pronounce it, but I get to try it and see, does this support me in my wellness? Can I follow up with that later? Those have gone online. Now we have Wellness Wednesdays. Every Wednesday we do this virtually. And our Mindfulness Saturdays, same thing, just to walk through a few mindfulness tools, learn all the different ways of practicing mindfulness and getting familiar with those. Every year we've hosted an April month of the Military Child event, honoring those children, their unique challenges. Quote unquote dog shows, showing the difference between a service dog, a therapy dog, a good old pet, and being able to link people with those resources. Everyone knows us from the Dodger game. Everyone's our best friend. People who have never even heard of it claim to have worked with us for years when our Dodger game flyer goes out. And this year we managed to go to the Dodger game together, a group of 525 military connected individuals sitting together at a Dodger game. We're out exploring. We go to the opera, but not just attend. We're not handing out tickets. We're inviting people to join us for an excursion. And then after the opera performance, we're escorted backstage to a rehearsal hall and discuss the opera. How did we connect with it because of having served in the military? So all of the really outside the box stuff that we do where people go, Gail, what in the world does that have to do with mindfulness? What in the world does it have to do with veterans? There's method to the madness, and it allows us to kind of be a really big, wide funnel for people to come and explore possibilities. No one has to, we don't do intakes, we don't report to anyone. People just come and join us and see that this isn't weird, and I'm with fellow veterans, people who get it, and hey, these things are kind of cool, and just keep exploring possibilities. The bottom line with this organization is that no one should ever have to feel trapped, stuck at the end of their rope and resort to unhealthy ways of easing or ending pain or suffering. And I have to say, we haven't lost anyone in all of our years of operation. A lot of people referring people to us, and then we're able to, as kind of a known and trusted organization, then people go, hey, you guys haven't steered us wrong so far. Do you know of a therapist who might be good to see? Do you know of someone who gets it with veterans for housing or for benefits or employment? So we love partnering. We've worked with most of the people on this Zoom one way or another, and look forward to continuing to do so, whether it's virtually or when we finally get back to in-person events. And I would love for you to check out the website because what we do is very open and free. So no cost for Dodger tickets, for attending the opera, for film screenings. And we have a wonderful opportunity. Filmmakers will come to us for reality checks on how they're portraying the military experience in films. So at the end of the month, we have an upcoming conversation with the filmmakers, people who really want to hear, in this case from Vietnam era veterans, what was this like? So they honor that experience and not do some crazy Hollywood version. So I kept it under 10 minutes, squished a lot in, and would like to see if there's anything that needs clarifying. That was a crash course.
Well, keep up the good work and keep in touch with the department and the commission. You're always welcome, and one of these days we'll have in-person meetings, and we'd like to continue those updates. But if you have anything to share with the commission, please email it, and we'll get it posted. Any other questions?
More of a comment, but Gail, thank you so much. And I'll follow up with you offline. I'd love to see, what the county can do to help facilitate the services that you provide and how we can push this out to a wider audience. So I'll follow up with you offline. But again, thank you for being here and then the services you provide, and let's assess how the county can help make this more successful.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate all of the support, networking, and partnerships. I heard the phrase so many times, but it does take a village, and it's a pleasure to just reconnect with people who I haven't seen in too long, even in a little Zoom screen, and know that we're all still moving forward to provide creative resources. So thank you.
Well, great, thank you. You're part of the team, and we'll all keep in touch. Next on the agenda is the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs report. General Ruth Wong.
Good afternoon, commissioners and special guests. I have two items to report today. Both of them were on the board agenda last Tuesday, August 31st. The first one had to do with the board approving funds that have been designated for our website redesign. I'm very excited about this project and having gotten it funded through the Information Technology Fund. I have a team that's going to be working on it, led by Kathleen Pache, our communications person. And so we're not only will the website be easier to navigate, that's one of the outcomes that we would like, but it will also have embedded in it our appointment system called Wait While. And we will have a separate page for the commission that will be more streamlined and in line with what the customer needs. The second item I wanted to mention that was on the board agenda is Rigoberto Reyes mentioned a board motion that Supervisor Solis and Janice Hahn co-authored, and our department was included in that. And we are looking into what resources we have, not only our department, but the VSOs in the community, as well as our partner, the VA, and to identify those items that will we could deploy easily enough to support our veterans that will be transitioning back to civilian life, as well as assisting families of fallen service members. And that committee is being led by our Chief Deputy, Stephanie Stone. So those are the two items that I wanted to share with you for this month, and I thank you.
Thank you, Jenna Long. Items for next month's agenda. Since we're going to be having a retreat, a commissioners retreat here at Patriotic Hall on the 13th of October, the next regular meeting will be held on the 10th of November, but we will solicit input for the next month or two for that next regular meeting. But does anybody have anything in particular they'd like to address or to make sure that's on for the meeting? Okay, we've got a month to work on that. Next is for the good of the order, and this is when the members of the commission can comment on agenda or non-agenda items and ask questions or give directions to staff. And I'd like to go back to Commissioner Leal. I apologize for skipping you, but we had to move up one of the speakers. But Commissioner Leal, anything for the good of the order to include your VTAN summary?
Good afternoon, commissioners and attendees. Well, I'm glad I got to wait a little bit later, Chairman, and the reason why is because you got to hear from the wonderful team from ETS, you got to hear from Philip, you got to hear from Fernando from the VA, and that's all part of the Veteran Peer Access Network. Today, I was glad to have taken part in the LAVC, and there are so many great things that are happening in regards to changing the momentum, the status, and how it is that we're better able to serve veterans and their families. From never before now having an extensive network and continued growing of community access points for the veteran and their families, to being able to address matters in real time, to be an asset and an extension of military veteran affairs, the VA, and to include all different entities. It's a wonderful program. The numbers continue to climb. They're easily over 500, probably within every agency. Typically what winds up happening is you have homelessness issues, obviously food insecurities and different things like that. Claims continues to lead. Claims is very big. I wish I had the words to thank George Dixon and all these service officers, to include that under the leadership of General Wong. They have been very receptive. We continue to get many praises, and we're talking about getting veterans from as far back as World War II finally connected into the system. We have a lot of veterans, seniors with food insecurities, and it feels really good to be able to get them the food that they need, either through Chaplain Dove, their Food to Life program, or Meals on Wheels, or different providers. It feels really good to be able to take care of the seniors. A lot of troops coming back from Afghanistan and different areas. I'm glad that these services are continually growing. There is going to be a really good event that's going to take part with the VA and VPAN and different other agencies to better streamline veterans that are seeking services in collaboration with several agencies. I know MVA is a huge contender in this upcoming event. I can tell you that they built it, and it's definitely servicing veterans, and I can't see moving forward without a VPAN. It just works hand in hand like a perfect machine in collaboration, as I mentioned, with Department of Mental Health. The way VPAN works is every morning, typically the day starts off with a phone call with Department of Mental Health and the VA and VPAN, depending on their district supervisory district. They talk about different case management. They talk about how it is that one can support another. And then typically, a member from MVA jumps on there to talk about that as well. And what winds up happening throughout the week, they just dig so that they can close out those cases. Their VPAN does have a warm line where they veterans do call, and those get issued out and divvied out depending on where that veteran and or military family member lives. Then a case they're issued out to program manager, which until pushes it down to battle buddy, peer specialist, and they turn around and provide those services from A to Z using this huge network that continues to grow. So that's basically VPAN as a whole. It continues to grow, and it's amazing to see it in action. I'm glad that you give me the time to talk about it. It is addressing homelessness very hard, and that is with the continued collaboration with education systems to include law enforcement and different agencies that are all stepping up to ask for the services. That's pretty much what I got for that. General Wong, you're doing a great job over there with those service officers and that full team. I got to tell you, I'm seeing it from the trenches, and they are amazing, everyone out there. So anyways, I continue to always praise them because they are a wonderful team. That's pretty much what I got, Chairman. That's my alibi, and I'm sticking to it, sir.
And you did a good job. Thank you very much. Next, Patricia Jackson Kelly, anything for the good of the order?
No, not yet. Can't hear you.
I received a message. She said, for the good of the order, the Secretary of the VA has appointed her, that's great, National Working Group, as to the National Working Group on Sexual Assault and Sexual Harassment Prevention and Response. So just to add that bit of information for the group and those attending.
Congratulations. Yes, congratulations. Very good. Thank you very much. Next, for the good of the order, Joanna McFadden. Captain McFadden, you still with us?
I am still with you. I just spoke, so yeah, nothing to add at this time. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Moving right along, Jennifer Campbell, you're next. Anything you'd like to add?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only thing I'll add is tomorrow I actually have a call with Representative Liu's office. I believe Commissioner Allman will be on that as well. Just basically going over, questions, concerns, misinformation about the VA master plan here in Greater Los Angeles. And so just looking forward to that. And if anything notable comes back, we'll make sure to report it at the next meeting.
Very good. Very good. I believe I'm on that call also. He's my Congress member also. Thank you. Brittany Moore.
Good afternoon. No, I don't have anything at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Marcel Rodarte, welcome back. Anything you'd like to add?
Nothing from me, sir. I appreciate it. Good to be back. Look forward to doing the work, the Lord's work with you all.
Okay, good. Keep up the great attitude. Commissioner Allman, new chair, anything you'd like to add?
I just want to thank my colleagues for their support, and thank you, Chair Lasser, for your 6 years of service. on this commission. And that's longer, that was longer than my enlistment. It's a long time. And the one thing I'll just add, just for discussion, I think at the commissioners retreat, just think about ways that we can improve communications to the public. That's something that I think we can improve moving forward. The more that people know that we're here and that we're doing things, hopefully the more participation we get from the public, the more we learn what the needs are from the community. And the last thing I'll just mention, I was really intrigued by the Office of Immigrant Affairs presentation. 79 Afghan refugees, it doesn't seem insurmountable. It seems like we can really, sort of get our hands around the issue and provide them good comfort in LA County.
Thank you. Congratulations on your election. And as we get close to adjournment, I'd like to adjourn the meeting and turn it over to Jenna Wong for memorial.
Today, I would like to adjourn the meeting in memory of the 13 American service members, our heroes who lost their lives in Afghanistan recently during the evacuation process. And I'd like to just do a roll call of their names. Staff Sergeant Darren Hoover, Corporal Hunter Lopez, Corporal Dagan Page, Corporal Humberto Sanchez, Lance Corporal Jared Schmidt, Lance Corporal David Espinosa, Lance Corporal Raylee Nicolum, Lance Corporal Dylan Marola, Lance Corporal Kareem Nikui, Hospitalman Maxton Soviak, Marine Sergeant Johanny Picardo, Marine Sergeant Nicole G., and Army Staff Sergeant Ryan Mouse. So adjourn in the memory of the American heroes.
Amen and Godspeed. And I ask for a motion to adjourn the 8 September Veterans Advisory Commission meeting.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman. This is Commissioner Campbell.
Commissioner Campbell, okay, and I'm asking for a second.
This is Marcel, I'll second.
Marcel Rodarte, Commissioner Rodarte, thank you very much. We have a second. That adjourns the September meeting. We have the retreat in October, and the next formal meeting will be in November. Meeting adjourned.